Sonic the Hedgehog was released on June 23, 1991 as Sega's attempt to have a company mascot that can rival Mario. It was a phenomenal success and quickly became the best-selling game for the Genesis, with over 15 million units sold, and finally putting Sega on the map as a legitimate contender in the Nintendo-dominated market. But as time went on and more games in the series came out, people looked back at this game with cynical views ranging from saying that the game was merely average to downright saying that it sucks and should have never have exploded into popularity. Does this game hold up 28 years later? Let's find out. The evil Dr. Robotnik has invaded South Island and is capturing the animal inhabitants to power his robotic badniks to collect the 6 Chaos Emeralds so he can harness their power for world domination. It is now up to Sonic to save the woodland critters, collect the emeralds, and defeat Robotnik before it's too late. The game was to show off the 16-bit power of the Genesis by having more advanced graphics than that of the NES. The best example of this are the multi-layered backgrounds, which are constantly scrolling alongside the player to give the zone a greater feeling of scale. The game is colorful, each zone's themes and designs look good even today, as well as the designs of the characters and enemies. It's your classic platformer with a speedy twist. The game uses its unique momentum physics to make Sonic go fast, which allows you to race through stages at Sonic speed. You defeat enemies by having Sonic roll up into a ball, as well as destroy monitors with helpful power-ups like invincibility or a shield. You'll also be collecting rings, which is basically your life bar. Every time you are hit, you'll lose all the rings you have collected, but should be fine just as long as you hold on to at least one. You use the directional pad to move while all buttons make you jump. The controls are so simplistic that you can even play with an Atari 2600 controller. There are 6 zones with 3 acts each and a boss fight at the end. Each zone has their own unique look, style, enemies, and music. The zones range from the bright and colorful Green Hill Zone to the bleak and mechanical Scrap Brain Zone. There are also 6 special zones which to enter you must have 50 rings at the end of the stage and jump through the big ring. These special zones are a series of spinning mazes where you must follow the rings to collect the Chaos Emeralds. Overall, I would say the game starts off easy. Straightforward levels, simple boss fights, and power-ups galore. Then it gets a little tougher as you go on, enemies that are harder to destroy, more obstacles like spikes, and worst of all, your own speed being used against you. I would have considered this game to have an average difficulty if not for 2 zones, Labyrinth Zone and Scrap Brain Zone. Labyrinth Zone is the token water level, but it's also one of the biggest difficulty spikes ever in a video game. You'll be attacked by enemies and spikes that pop out of the ground, be constantly looking for air bubbles to keep yourself from drowning, and the kicker is that because of the water, you are forced to move through at a snail's pace. On the other hand, Scrap Brain Zone doesn't pull any punches, and will straight up try to kill you at every turn with traps and enemies laced everywhere. At least it being a last zone, it makes sense that it would be all out, but I think the game designers went a bit too far, especially with Act 3 being a retread of Labyrinth Zone. As for the special stages and bosses, I guess I'd say they're about average. I would say that all the tracks in the game are great. They all have a distinctive tone and beat that reflects their respective zones, while also having that distinctive heavy bass line sound that only the Genesis could make. My favorite tracks include Spring Yard Zone, Starlight Zone, Scrap Brain Zone, and Final Zone. In the series, we tend to compare it to later entries and say that the first game falls short on what makes it unique, and that its only significance was to set the foundation for sequels to revise and perfect. Does Sonic 1 fall into that category? In my opinion, yes. But does that mean Sonic 1 is a bad game? Also in my opinion, no. It may fall short on the promise of speed, which makes it lose its unique edge over Mario, and have an unwarranted difficulty spike with Labyrinth Zone. I still think the good outweighs the bad. The music and graphics are great, the gameplay is still fun, and those few times you get Sonic to run at full speed feels really satisfying. This may be a rough first entry to return to or play for the first time, but I think it deserves to be played at least once to see where the Sonic series started and to see how far it has come. Thanks for watching.